In the beginning, from the darkness, came the spark of light. And from that spark came life. The life of SINA, the great traveler, seeking, always seeking. SINA's passion was as boundless as the stars. His method was imitation. And yet it seemed that as he learned more and more, the less and less he knew. He scattered millions of such replicas across the galaxy, but not one of these poor imitations contained the vital spark of life. The great navigator attempted to transfer a particle of his life force to the small creatures in front of him. No matter what he did, however, they remained incomplete, missing the vital animation. But then, from across the vast chasms of space, there came a signal. A small glimpse of hope. At first, just the faintest ray of light. And roaring thunder and great bursts of lightning. The great traveler had never seen before. SINA discovered a world that was unraveling, imploding, falling apart. The call they had come to answer was a distress signal from a dying planet. In the distance, SINA first laid eyes upon a creature of paradise, the fulfillment of a dream that SINA had carried in his heart throughout the universe for so very long. This beautiful vision, one that was capable of creating life, or so it seemed, for those very creations were destined to wither and die. Even these two celestial beings were amazed, wondering how such a marvel could have occurred. These waves of interference were even felt by the ship. Thus the eye knew things were about to change. The great animator KORE was blinded by happiness, with the sight of all those living creatures around her, reanimated, repurposed, liberated from their surly bonds. The Ark was now filled with life. Plants, living entities everywhere. It was glorious. While SINA seemed to have nothing to do. Surely, there was a way that he could learn KORE's secrets and create the conditions for life. It must begin with an analysis of KORE's tears. The great experimenter did exactly what he usually had done up until now, which was to create more pale imitations of life. Because while SINA couldn't understand the properties of a tear, he could make quite an accurate copy of it. This was, after all, his method. From the fake tear came dark abominations. The Ark itself became infected with the poison of the stolen tear. The great traveler's experimentations were turning out to have some serious, unforeseen consequences. KORE could hardly believe what she saw. Was this all that SINA, the creature she had thought so wondrous, had wanted from her? To use her powers? Just when KORE thought she had finally found happiness. Yet again it seemed she had been betrayed. Finally, it dawned on SINA how cosmically selfish he had been. His fury was limitless. It was the kind of rage that only comes hot on the heels of regret. Indeed, this was the period known as the Great Contrition. He destroyed the evil creatures, the laboratory, and the machine. Oculus struggled ferociously in vain to become one with its master again, but SINA, gathering all his strength, ripped this noxious part out of him once and for all. While KORE knew exactly the sacrifice SINA had made for the two of them, the great traveler had not forgotten his earlier sacred pledge. The promise that he had made to her, that together they would make their own world. The power of their symbiosis would only be realized by their joining together. It was a consummation of everything they dreamed of and desired. Their union lit up the stars with incandescent passion, and the vastness of space flamed with fire. And from this union there was conception. Scores of tiny newborns dreaming their first dreams in environs of perfect warmth and serenity. And who was more likely than Oculus to observe not only this consummation, but also the strange fruit of their union? The words implanted in the minds of these new life forms would sow the seeds of all that was to come, and the world that we know now, with all its beauty and all its terror.